Welcome to a short reflection by Sebastian Mahfoud on Canto XVII of Dante's Paradiso. Cacciaguida's reference to the origin of the Guelphs and the Ghibellines has brought the question of Dante's future exile back into his mind. He first heard about his impending exile from Ciacco in the third circle of hell, and he heard about it quite a few additional times since. Now is the chance for him to understand its full meaning, since, after all, we are always trying to discern the good that can arise from the evil that befalls us, in addressing the question of theodicy. In this he is affirmed. The purpose for his exile was to provide him with the leisure time to write the Divine Comedy, which will outlive all present animosity, and bring Dante a great deal of earthly fame that will ultimately be for the greater glory of God. All Dante has to do is have the grace to accept the gifts provided by the patrons he will find, and not become bitter in adversity, as Ciardi notes. Cacciaguida explains the details of the exile, that it will be done at the instigation of Pope Boniface VIII, that Dante will have to leave everything behind and rely on the support of others. Losing his Guelph affiliation, Dante will become a party of one, an independent agent, and he will meet a man named Francesco Cangrande, perhaps a model for the future Garibaldi, whom, Ciardi notes, became sole lord of Verona in 1311, and in whom lies some basis of hope in the restoration of peace and order in Italy. Cacciaguida ends by telling Dante not to hate his neighbors, for his future stretches far beyond the reach of what they do, and far beyond the punishment of wretches. From Cacciaguida's words we learn the purpose for everything that has happened or will happen to Dante, not only his exile, but his present journey through the afterlife. He had to see everything, to experience a vision of God, for the purpose of proclaiming it to men in the clearest manner possible, using examples that his readers could understand, which for us require hundreds of pages of footnotes, but are, nonetheless, intelligible to us, as Daniel Schmitz noted in his discussion board posting for the previous canto. The tabloid-like catalogue of the who's who in hell, purgatory, and heaven is pedagogical, in the same way that Christ's parables were in his tropological method of teaching. The Divine Comedy, then, is the purpose of Dante's life, like the vision in Habakkuk, where the prophet learns that the just man, because of his faith, shall live, and that in spite of all calamity God remains good and will provide. Without being Procrustean about it, we all have a rubric against which to measure the full meaning of our lives, and that is found in the meaning and purpose for which we have been created, to love and return to God. While we should never do an evil to bring about a good, it is often the case that good comes out of evil. Had Dante actually married Beatrice, had Dante never been exiled, had Dante not married Gemma Donati and experienced her termagant behavior as expressed in her letters to her mother that we read back in Purgatory, I'm speaking slightly tongue-in-cheek on this one, then we never would have had this narrativization of Thomistic thought writ large in its encyclopedic form. The kind of hardship that builds character and strengthens us is the kind we ought to embrace, and we should seek the good out of every other kind of hardship that is visited upon us, because ultimately we will find within our struggles a path to the true good, who is God, and who created us in his likeness and image. We just have to keep our faith so that it transforms our attitudes for the purpose of transforming from hatred into love our relationships with God, with ourselves, and with our neighbors.